There goes the whole trailer. So I got an Evo 9, and of course it's not running. I gotta take the coil packs off and spark plugs out and put some oil in the cylinders because this thing hasn't ran in quite some time. All right, so the starter is dead, so I cannot crank this thing over to start it today, unfortunately, but we can look over it really quick. So it's got a MAP manifold, MAP open dump O2 housing, some intercooler piping and intercooler, and no intake. Looks like a HKS blow-off valve, and there's the intake. Just a turbo guard. It's got Megan Racing coilovers, and it does have the Evo 9 seats still in it, so the nice special ones or whatever they are. They're a little beat up, but not too bad. And it does have these harnesses, which are coming out, but it also has just a regular seat belt, so that's good. And it is a MR, so it's a 6-speed, unfortunately. So this thing's not getting power. It's probably going to be put back to stock and just made a decent stock one. Steering wheel's coming off, actually. You can see the back seat. Came with a vortex generator and some stock parts and stuff. It has the Evo 9 BBS wheels on it, which is great because those are worth a lot of money. And the paint overall is in pretty good shape, except for the front bumper. Yeah, it's gonna look really nice when buffed and polished. Wing needs clear, of course. But in here, got a few more parts for the steering wheel. Got some cams, which are brand new. I'm just gonna sell those. Some injectors, which I'm gonna sell. Some Moog parts. Do I have a cob? No, fuel pump. No cob. Oh, the DW300. I think this is a Greddy exhaust is what he told me, and underneath there's no rust really. It's really clean under here. I was so surprised, so that's why I had to snag it. No leaking from the rear diff, which is nice. Has a pretty nice valve cover too. It'll clean up really nice. It's been sitting forever, so all the dust just goes straight in. I got oil sitting in the cylinders for now. I'm gonna check Rock Auto and see how fast the starter can get here, so we can get this thing going. Oh yeah, I forgot, it has this ARC cooling cover, cooling shroud, whatever it's called. I know these things are worth a lot of money, so I'm very excited about that. All right, new starter is in. Let's see if we can't get some crank. That is weird. She runs. Alright guys, so the starter signal wire is still messed up, so I gave up and started it with a screwdriver, but here it is. I want to let it get up to temp, and because it hasn't been up to temp. I just started it in the garage for a few seconds and then pulled it out here, but that's it. It's crazy how smooth this thing runs. Oil's still clearing out the cylinders. So after starting it, I realized there's something going on with the power steering fluid, and it is looking dirty. So whenever you turn the wheel, you can feel it shuddering, and that fluid just looks terrible. So I'm gonna do a flush on it and see if that helps. You can see just how like gray the fluid is, and yeah, I'm not sure why it's looking like that. All right, so I blew out all the lines, made a huge mess, cleaned out the canister, and I got fresh fluid in there. So now time to start it and turn the wheel back and forth and see if it does anything. I can hear the pump. Yeah, it's a bad pump. So the pump actually quieted it down a little bit, but I still think it needs a pump because you guys saw the metallic in that. So yeah, I'll probably end up getting a pump. Not bad. I still can't believe how smooth this thing runs for not running in 3 to 4 years. When I did the first start, I didn't get it on video, but it basically ran like this. Just no lifter noise or anything, just quiet and easy. All right, so first things first, I gotta get this windshield tint off. You can't really see it. You can kind of see the bubbling here, but you just can't see too good out of it, so I want it gone. So on the windshield here, I removed the first layer of tint, and it has another layer underneath it. So I gotta remove this second layer of tint, and then I can hopefully see out of this thing. All right, tint's all off for the most part. Now I wanna remove this big harness bar because I hate it and it gets in the way and it looks funny. The car has stock seat belts in it still, so I just need to take this thing out. Now, it's looking much better in there. I haven't cleaned the interior yet. I'm waiting for a warm day because I'm gonna wash it and then clean the interior. But no more big harness bar back here. Engine-wise, the car only needs really 2 things. One's the turbo oil drain, which is coming in the mail. This one has an aftermarket one and it leaks, of course. But the other thing is an intake. I don't really like just running a turbo guard. And I remember in my stash of parts, I have an intake that might work. I don't know, this is a weird intercooler pipe. So let me go grab that and see if it'll work. So my intake semi works. It rubs on the radiator hose, which it's gonna have to. This is such a tight space. And I just got to get a tinier filter for right here. Yeah, I only have a few inches to work with, but I can kind of angle it up or something. So that will work. It's got this AN fitting for hose. I'll probably just use a bigger hose and put it right over that. Cool. Intake figured out. Got my air filter in. And let's see. Oh. Intercooler clamp is a little bit in the way, but that will do for an intake. It's not the best looking one, but that'll do. Maybe if I keep this set up, I'll powder coat this stuff black. That'll look a little better, but just to get this thing running and driving and on the road, that looks okay. It's time to fix this terrible oil leak, which mostly seems to be from the oil drain. As you can see, it's leaking from the turbo way up there. The majority of the leak is down here. I don't know why it's leaking, but I'm going back to an OEM style return, and then it should not leak. So I don't really have anything to do on this until I get it titled and start driving it and seeing what's wrong with it. But what I'm gonna do right now is, I just don't like the look of the silver intercooler pipes, and I just feel like powder coating something today. So I'm gonna pull this pipe off, the full upper and the intake pipe, and I'm gonna powder coat them black. All right, so the upper pipe is out. I'm not gonna do the lower pipe because no matter where you are in the engine bay, you never really see it. So it'll just be a waste of time. I also took the fan out because I want to replace these boost lines that go to the boost controller because these are old and rubber hoses get brittle. I got some of this thicker hose that's supposed to last longer, and that way, just to make sure we have no boost control issues, because obviously if a line goes, you know, you could over boost, blow your engine, a whole lot of things. This also gives me a good opportunity to just degrease and clean everything, start cleaning this engine bay, because it will look really good. There's no real rust or anything, it's just a bunch of dirt from sitting with the hood exposed. So I'll be doing that as well. But first thing I want to do is get to powder coating, and because I got a sandblast and then gas out and then coat. So, all right, it is all sandblasted, ready for powder. So let's shoot some. These definitely came out the best. They're about to go in the oven. Right when the other pipe is done, I'll throw these in, be done. So for the intercooler piping, I definitely sprayed it a little light. So it's has a little brownish hue to it, but that's okay. If I do keep this setup, I'll probably go short route intercooler piping and relocate the battery anyways. All right, so that's looking a little bit better than the silver, in my opinion. Got the intake down there. Need to run this to the intake, but do that later. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I kind of like the little bit brown look since I sprayed it far too light. So it works out. All right, guys, so I have to do a decent sized tear down on the car. I thought it was good to go, but I was looking under it, just looking at everything, and I noticed where the transmission and engine are supposed to bolt up, it was a little bit of a gap, and I was like, why is that? And then I saw the bolt that holds the transmission to the engine right there. It was actually backed out, and then I was trying to turn it in there, and I pushed it all the way in, and it just went all the way in. So I was like, oh, either the threads are stripped or the shop that put the transmission or the clutch in put a short bolt there instead of a longer one. And I think that's the case because I was able to catch like the first couple threads. So I think if I just put a longer bolt in, it'll be fine. But in order to get that longer bolt in, I have to pull the transfer case to have room to pull that bolt out and then put the new one in and torque it down, make sure it's torqued proper and everything. It's kind of annoying having to tear down a lot of the car just to put one bolt in all the way, but it needs to be done. You can't have a little bit of a gap between the transmission and engine. The clutch is not aligned 100% properly right now, and I think that's why the car has a little bit of a squeak when the clutch is just out, and when you push it in, it goes away. I don't think it's throw-up bearing or anything. I think it's because it's not 100% aligned, and when I draw them together, the transmissions right now, it's like kind of at like an angle like that. When I draw it together, it'll be 100% straight, and we'll see if the squeak goes away. So the first thing I'm doing is taking the downpipe out, because this is not one of those where it has the 2-bolt flange and you can just unbolt that and the 2 bolts back there. This one bolts onto the turbo, which is a stupid design, because now to do an oil pan or whatever, transfer case, pull the transfer case, you have to unbolt all the bolts from here, which shouldn't be too bad, but I just spent 2 hours working this bolt out slowly because I do not want to have to pull the turbo right now and tap it and do all that. And you can see it's kind of bent. Whoever put this downpipe on, they used way too long of a hardware. So for 2 hours I was doing like 1/16 of a turn slowly out, soaking it with PB Blaster, and then just repeat, going in a little bit, out and out and out, working it out. And I eventually got it out somehow. All right, so I got a socket on the transfer case fill, and it is already loose for me. It's saving me some work. All right, guys, so the bolt down there is on now, and it was also missing that bolt that you can see right there. So that was both of them missing on that side, so that's why they were spaced out from the block. It took me all day to tear this down, basically all because of the downpipe. Everything else came out within an hour, so that downpipe really held me back. But the whole reason I did this is because on the DSMs and stuff, they call that bolt the crank walk bolt. And I don't know if it's the same for Evos, but I don't want to chance it. So yeah, I wanted to make sure all the bolts are securing the transmission to the engine. Now I'm going to wait on a few parts, the O-rings for the transfer case, since I already have it off, because if I want to take it off again, it'll be a pain. So I'm going to replace those O-rings while I'm in there. And I'm going to get the correct hardware for the downpipe, or the O2 housing, to connect to the turbo, so they're not 10 feet too long. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm waiting on parts now and figuring out what I want to do with the car, which route I want to go, modifying it or whatnot. I have decided I am going to modify it a little more and clean up the engine bay and stuff. So once I get to doing that, I'll make another video on it. So for now, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. You wanted to say bye too? You wanted to say bye too? You wanted to say bye too?